Hi, my name is Attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA. Let's go ahead and talk about the D102 system structure, specifically knowing the stages of filing. All right, so somebody's got to file, right? Somebody's got to file to be found disabled because they've got to file the paperwork to begin with. There are a couple of ways to file. You already know them. There's by mail, where we mail in the actual paper documentation. There's online. Only SSDI, not SSI, works right now. And then there's basically doing it over the phone with an SSA rep or at the SSA field office and talking directly to them with the filing. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the general overview process of how it works. So somebody gets this paperwork, right? Whether it's online or in whatever form. And this paperwork, we get it done. Cool. We finish the forms. Then what happens is we send that paperwork off to what's called the field office. The field office is like a hub, the FO. It's a hub for SSA activities. Field office then sends it off to, at the initial filing level, so if we're doing filing level or reconsideration level, it sends it off to what's called DDS. Wow, that's a terrible circle. DDS, Disability Determination Services, will go ahead and begin the adjudication process. They're kind of like your intro judges. They're not judges. They don't have the special education. They're not attorneys. They're just kind of admin adjudicators. These DDS reps will go ahead and potentially send the claimant off to what's called a CE, which is a consultative examination, which is a medical appointment set up and paid for by the SSA. So the SSA can send people out to their own doctors, called a CE doctor or a consultative examination physician. So we get the forms done. They go to the FO, the field office. Field office sends it up to DDS. DDS makes a decision on the claim. Now, when DDS is done, the claim goes back to the field office. Well, what do we mean by the field office? It's the same place it was before. It's just a local office, right? So DDS sends the documentation back to the field office. Now, the field office will go ahead at this point and basically send out a decision as to whether or not you were approved or denied. If you want to file an appeal, you file it online, doing an E3441. However, we always have the client sign the paper version in case the online system for filing an appeal is down. Why do we do that? Very simple reason. We do that because basically it's a government website, and the government website breaks all the time. It's just the deal with it. Okay. So what does this all mean? This means essentially that the local field office is your hub. It always comes back to the local field office. So let's go through that again very quickly. Get your forms completed. You're ready to submit them. You give them to the attorney. The attorney sends them to what's called the field office. The field office will then, once they've entered in the information, send it to DDS. DDS will usually request additional forms be completed, so they'll send those forms off to the claimant. Claimant will send these, well, actually the attorney will send them over to DDS. DDS will continue the claim until they decide whether or not the person is disabled, and then once they have, they'll send it back to the field office. That's how an initial filing goes. That's how pretty much a reconsideration goes, the next appeal stage. The next appeal stage after that is the administrative law judge. The difference is, instead of being DDS, it's OHO, the Office of Hearing Operations, which is basically, it's an adjudication office. It used to be called ODAR, Office of Disability Adjudication Review, but now it's called OHO. All right. So instead of being DDS at the hearing level, so initial filing it's DDS, reconsideration it's DDS, and then ALJ level, it's at the hearing level, you don't have DDS anymore, you have an administrative law judge. All right, so knowing the stages of filing, those are the stages you're going to go through. Now let's talk about the appeal stages. So you have the filing stage, reconsideration stage, you have the ALJ hearing stage, you have appeals counsel, then you have federal, you have district court, you have circuit court, and then you have basically the Supreme Court. So let's go through those real quick. Okay, so federal court, initial filing. Initial filing is the very beginning. It's when you file the documents. If you get a denial, you have to appeal into reconsideration. If you get a denial here, you have to appeal into the administrative law judge hearing level. If you get a denial here, you have to appeal into the appeals council level. If you get a denial here, you have to go and do work at the district court level. Now, I want to, and then you get the circuit court and the Supreme Court. I want to point out one thing, though. All the way up to here, the question that they ask in our legal system is the person disabled? Are they a disabled individual? Are the disabling conditions severe enough to be considered disabled on the SSA, under the SSA's rules and regulations? And then for SSI, are they poor enough? For SSDI, were they covered under their insurance program? So, what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is that over here, the question is, are you disabled? Over here, the question is not that. The question at that point is, did the judge, administrative law judge at the hearing, make an error as to law or fact? Did the ALJ make an error as to law or fact? And why does the question become this at this point? And the question becomes this because basically, you've already had your trial, which was the hearing, the administrative law judge hearing. And at that point, it's not supposed to be you're going to have like another hearing in the future. It's not just appeal until you get done, until you get a positive approval. At that point, the administrative law judge appeal level, that's your hearing, that's your trial. After that, it's purely reviewing whether your trial was held in a proper fashion. Okay, so it's no longer, are you disabled? It can go back to that question, be remanded back to the ALJ to have something fixed, and then, go from there. But basically, the deal is, okay, after the ALJ hearing, the next question is, at Appeals Council, was there an error as to law or fact that the judge made during the hearing, or did something just get screwed up that shouldn't have been screwed up by some other administrative person? That would go ahead and alter a proper non-prejudiced decision-making process. So that's basically what it is. Did we answer knowing the stages of filing? Yeah, those are the stages of filing and their appeals. So my name is Attorney Walter Hnot with Disability Resolution PA. I'll catch you a little bit later, and we'll catch you at the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.